Media, create images. Now that we are done with our project, the time has come to produce beautiful images for that project. On the left-hand side, we have this icon called Media, and inside Media, we have 4 icons: Images, Panorama, Videos, and BIM Motion. Let's start by Image. Let's click Image, adjust my view, and let's say I want my photo from that perspective, showing the pool and the villa. I would adjust my view and click Create Image. And now the frame shot of my image has been set. We can see it in the viewport here, and also a thumbnail view down here. Next to that thumbnail, we have some settings by which we can adjust this image. Notice that if I changed my view now in the viewport, that thumbnail stays the same, and by clicking on it, it set us back to the position that shot was taken. On the right-hand side, we have a back button that let us get back to media options, and another button called Quit Media Mode. If we click it, it takes us out of the framing mode of my shot and my scene fills the viewport. Click on the image again and that would be the framing mode, and this is the boundaries of my image that I am producing. We have 3 dots here that let us rename, delete, or duplicate the image. Next to it, we have a small reload icon, and that allows us to adjust my view, and then by clicking reload, these adjustments get updated to the thumbnail, and this is the new view now. We can also rename the image from down here by just clicking and typing the new name. Down there, we have time. Click it and we can now adjust the time of the day for that image and that image only. Let me adjust it to be night, for example, and press Quit Media Mode. That doesn't change anything in the scene view. That time settings is only related to that image. Click it now and image time gets adjusted back to night. And of course, all features like automatic lights is on and working with that image. Let me set it back to day shot now and learn tons of new options by pressing More. Inside More, we have a set of settings that we can adjust in our image. First icon is Camera Settings. Click it and inside it we have photographic options like output size, field of view, perspective correction, vignetting, and phase. Let's start with the output size. It is currently set to Full HD. Click it and we have 3 presets for the image we are going to produce: HD, Full HD, and 4K. And these are the resolutions of the images we want to output. HD would be 1280 by 720 pixels, and that would be perfect for internet streaming or mobile phones. Full HD is perfect for computers and Full HD TV screens. 4K is suitable for new high-resolution screens that supports 4K resolutions. But what if I want to input a special resolution? Simply press More and here we can input width and height. Let's say we want our image to be 4000 pixels by 2000 pixels. Let's enter our desired values and continue. And let me get back from here, and that take us back to the image. It is much easier to get back using links on that path here. Click the word camera settings and we are back to our camera settings level, not all the way up to image. Next option is field of view. Increase it and the camera sees wider range. Decrease it and it decreases the field and the camera sees a narrower range. Next icon is perspective correction, and that fixes the distortion that arises in camera settings and the angle we are shooting from. When we set it to on, it lets vertical lines like the wall of that building be perfectly vertical and perpendicular to the ground, so it doesn't appear inclined. It is generally recommended to leave it on all the time. Next is vignetting. Vignetting gives us realistic effect that this photo is taken with real camera. In real life, photos taken by real camera are a bit darker at the corners, and that is called vignette. Let's increase vignette and the corners comes to be darker. Decrease it and it goes the other way and makes the corners lighter. Phase is locked now in images as it works only in videos. Let's get back to image settings and let's check the next icon, localization, and that option allows us to change location of that image regardless of the location of the project. Let's click it and inside we can change month and north direction only to that image. Let me set the months to March and let me quit the media mode and go to nature category, localization. Now the whole project is set to August, but in our image it is set to March. And same goes with the north offset. Change it and it changes the direction of the sun and shadows only for that image. Next we have weather settings, also for that image. Make it rainy or shiny or make weather effects. All that will only be saved to that image. Next is lighting, and all those options are well explained in the nature lighting videos. The only difference is that these settings will only be applied to the image, and when we quit media mode we will get back to the settings of the project. The next icon is called DOF, depth of field, and that controls the blurriness of objects based on their distance from the camera. Let's set DOF to be on and notice that far areas like those trees in the background are now blurred, and that is the depth of field effect. Let's adjust the distance and we can control how far is the point of blurriness from where we stand. So by increasing the distance, everything goes blurry in a radius of 50 meters. Let me set the distance to 4.4 meter and adjust the radius. So basically, with these two options, we can adjust the range of what gets to be blurred or clear based on its distance from where we stand. Let me set it to off for now. Next option is background, and that controls the background option again. Specifically for this image only. We can set it and rotate it however we like. And lastly, we have visual effects, where we can give different moods and filters to the photos. Let's explore that out. Click Visual Effects and inside it we have three icons: color gradient, filters, and clay render. Let's start with color gradient. Inside it, we have type, contrast, and saturation. So the color gradient type has some color presets to choose from. Each one gives us a special mood to our photo, like that. I encourage you to check them out and find what's best for your image. Let me set it to none for now and check out contrast. It is just a slider that increases and decreases contrast. Same goes with RGB saturation. Use these sliders to get the best color contrast and saturations for your images. Back to visual effects, and next to color gradient we have filters. Inside it we can choose the type of filters from here. It has lots of very cool effects that I recommend checking. Let me set it to none and check out the last icon in visual effects, which is clay render. Click clay render, and that is one very cool and interesting feature. Click enable and give it a second to load. Once it is enabled, it overrides all the materials of our scene with one single material, and we can control this material using these icons. First icon is selection, and this is where we can choose which category of our scene gets to be overridden by the clay material. Let's untick landscape, and our landscape material gets restored. If we untick vegetation too, we now have a very interesting effect where greens remains with the materials and everything else is light blue. Translucency, color, reflections, and bump. This controls the settings of the clay material that covers our scene. Let's change the color to white. And this could be very useful as a sketch presentation of our projects. Just beautiful white model. Let me enable off and get back. And now we are done with all the settings. In the next video, we will do a practical example and learn how to export professional images. Practical example and export image. Now that we learned all the settings we need to create image, let's put that into work with the coming practical example. Now I will work on this image that we shot in the previous lecture and will try to make it more interesting and beautiful. First, I will go to time and change the time of the day to be around 3 o'clock. Then I will go to more, go to localization and change the north offset. By changing that, I am now controlling the position of the sun and the shadows. Let me set it so the sun is facing me now, but it is now high in the sky. Back to image, and let's set the time to be around 17:21. And now the sun appeared in the background. Let me adjust it till we have some interesting composition like that. Let's get back to localization and use the north offset again to fine-tune the position of the sun. Let's also go to weather settings of that image and increase cloud a bit. And together with north offset, we can make sun appears behind the cloud. And that's one technique you can use for your image. Let's make the same trick, but with the moon this time. Let me set the time to night around 8:30 for example. Go to localization, north offset to let the moon be facing the camera. Let me search around the moon in the sky. Let's make the time around 9:30 And there it is, our moon. Back to our image, adjust the north offset again till we have the moon in our view. Let's now go to lighting. At the moon power, press more, adjust the phase and the star's intensity, increase clouds from weather, and that is another technique to make night shots more interesting. Let's get back to day and let's learn how to export this image into a JPEG image. Well, at the left hand side under media category we have export category, and it is the same for icons as media category: images, panorama, video, and beam motions. But in media we create, and in export we produce the image into external files of images and videos. What gets created in media image will appear in the image icon. If we click empty, we will have the option to tick this image to be ready to start export. But what if we want to export multiple images for that project, not just one image? Simply, we will go to Media category, then Image, and then press Create Image from here. But before that, we will adjust our viewport camera shot first. Let me adjust a shot from another angle. Then press Create Image. And there is our new image. Adjust its time settings, weather settings, camera settings, and so on, just like we did in the previous image. Now go to Export category, click on Image, and there we have it to be ticked and selected. One last thing before we export, we need to go into More and set Max Reflection and Max Lighting to be on to increase the quality of reflections and lighting. Then press Start Export. Select a folder where you want to save your images and let Twinmotion render those images. And there we have our image rendered as photos. They are all good, but they can be much better, especially the shadows. They need to be fixed. Let's get back to Twinmotion to learn a quick tip to make shadows much better for our images. Let's go to Media, Images, and select that last image. Press More. Go to Lighting. We will find that the shadows are set to be more than 2,400 meters, and that would be okay for far shots like this. And as we go further than those 2,400 meters, shadows begin to disappear. But what about the closer shots like ours? Well, in this case, we will need to decrease the shadow's distance to, let's say, 600 meters or something. And by doing that, shadows become more clear, concentrated, and realistic. And that is best for closer shots, not for the far ones. If it's a big project and we want further shots like that one, then it would be okay to increase shadows distance now. So we should adjust shadows distance for each image. Let me get back to my closer shot, adjust shadows distance, maybe adjust time as well, and we have now clear and beautiful shadows. What you do to this image, do it for all your images as well. Smaller shadows distance makes shadows more detailed and beautiful. Now let's export those images again with Max Reflection and Max Light. Then start Export. Choose the folder and press OK. By checking these photos, they are now have much better shadows. And that's how to export beautiful images in Twinmotion. Create and export panorama images. Creating panorama images is exactly the same as creating image. The only difference is that panorama image can be used with the help of some applications as a 360-degree photos that you can look around. First, we will go to Media. And we are done now with Create Image. This time we will create Panorama. Click Panorama and inside it we will click Create Pano. But before we do, we will need to position our shot correctly, because if we did Create Pano from this position, we will be looking around like this. So let me position my view so to be inside the boundaries of my project. And press Create Pano now. Now, just like image settings, all settings are the same in Panorama settings. Change the timing, adjust the lighting, change weather. The only difference in options are the camera settings. In Panorama, we don't have camera settings that were present in images, because the camera is now 360 Panorama. Other than that, everything else is the same. Now let's export our image. Go to Export, Panorama, and tick the image we just created. Inside More, we can set the resolution from here. Let me set it to 4K, max lighting on, and start export. Select the folder you want to save and press Select Folder. Give it a while to render, and there it is, our 360-degree image rendered and ready to be viewed with any application that allows us to view 3D panorama photos. For example, let's say we want to view this panorama image as a 360-degree mode. Or better yet, we want to send it to our client to be able to view the project himself in 360 degree. Well, let's go online to a website called marzipano.net. Then click Marzipano tool here, click Start, and we can now upload our files here to view it in 360 degree. Press Select File, go to where our panorama image was saved and select it. But there is a small problem that the panorama image that got exported from Twinmotion in PNG format, and that is currently not supported by Marzipano. So we will need to convert our rendered image from PNG to JPEG. To do that, we can simply use Paint program that comes with Windows. Right-click the image, open with Paint, and in Paint, press File, Save as JPEG image. Set a destination and click Save. And now we have our photo as a JPEG. Select it in Marzipano now and press Open. Give it a second to load. And there we can view our 360-degree panorama shot and move around it. We can download this 360-degree as a .rar folder that we can view offline or send it to a client by clicking Export here. The website gives us a message, press OK, and a RAR folder gets to be downloaded. Let's go to that folder and extract it. We will have a folder like that, Inside the app files folder, we have a webpage.html file that we can view offline. Double-click index.html and it should load the 360-degree image. But be aware, for some security reasons, it doesn't load well in Google Chrome, but we can open it using Internet Explorer. In Internet Explorer, down there is a message where you can allow blocked content. Press the Allow Blocked Content button and there we have our 360-degree photo to be viewed offline. We can send this RAR folder to clients to view the panorama photos and move around using simply the Internet Explorer that comes with Windows. And that was simply how to export and view panorama images. Create animation videos. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to create animation videos using Twinmotion, and that is one of the most powerful things Twinmotion offers. First, we will go to Media, just like we did in Images and Panoramas. Here is the place to create videos. Click the video icon and press Create. Let's set the first frame of my video, the starting point of the animation. Then press Create Clip. And there we have a clip appeared here in the thumbnail view. I can adjust this starting point a little and press Reload, and it gets updated. Now let's say we want to move our camera now. Simply we will change the view and press that plus sign after or before that first frame. But in my case, we want the new movement to be after that first frame, so we will click that plus sign here. And another thumbnail appeared in that clip. Let's press play, and now we have a movement of the camera between the first frame and the second frame in a time of 10 seconds as it is written down here. Let's move to a newer position and click that plus sign, and the new position gets recorded in a new thumbnail, and Twinmotion automatically creates the motion between these frames. We can even move upwards to make ending of my video and press the plus sign again. And now we have 4 frames that creates our movie clip, and Twinmotion will create the movement between them. Those 2 buttons let us play from the last frame or rewind to the first frame. Let's set it to the first frame, then play to check out the video. Now, as you can see, the movement became faster, as Twinmotion is now moving through these 4 frames in a fixed time of 10 seconds. Let me adjust that last frame to end the clip showing the whole villa, then press reload. Also, let's increase the clip length from 10 seconds to 15 so we can get slower movements between these clips. Back to first frame and press play. And there is our movie clip moving smoothly. Now let's learn about some adjustments we can make to this clip. First, next to each frame, we have a More button. When we click it, we can adjust settings for that frame, like camera settings. We can adjust the field of view, for example, weather settings, lighting settings, and depth of field. All that related to that starting frame only, and each frame has another more button to it. On the other hand, we can change daytime for the beginning and the end of the clip, like that. Let's say it's morning at the start, and at the end it turns to night. Now let's play. And now the daytime gets to be animated between day at the start, gradually turned into night at the end. Animation can also happen in weather. Let's go into more at that last frame and make it snowy, for example. And let's also adjust that third clip to be rainy. And now let's play the clip. And as you can see, weather settings got gradually changing from summer to rainy to snowy. There is something I don't like about that clip, which is it moves a lot inside the trees, and it is very distracting from the beauty of that villa. Let's fix that. To fix that, we will adjust the position of these two frames, so when Twinmotion moves between them, it doesn't move inside the trees. So I will adjust that third frame and press reload. Then the last one and reload again. Now let's play. Perfect. Now this clip is good and ready. Let's make another one. Let's say I want to make a clip showing that front elevation. Let me adjust my camera. Maybe I need to hide a couple of trees so they don't get in my way. Let's get back to Media, Videos, Create Clip, and press Create Clip here. Now the first frame got created, and let's move to the right in the viewport and press the plus sign to create the next frame. Maybe get back and up to show the whole thing and create that third frame. Now let's play to see what we got. Let's make it faster by changing clip length to 5 seconds. Maybe change that middle frame and press reload to update it. Press play now. Guess I'm going to delete that last frame and add another one at the same direction we are moving towards. Let's play now. Perfect. You will need to practice a couple of times to come up with some smooth movements for your videos. And now we have two clips here, clip 02 and clip 03. Notice that if we hover over any of these clips, we have more button appear. That more button is different from the more button that is specific for each frame. That other more button under clip 02, for example, controls the settings for the whole clip, and it has more options that we can set, like the video output size, field of view for the whole clip, perspective correction, vignette, location, weather, and everything else for the whole clip. Let's rename it from here to clip 01 and clip 02. Let me adjust some final touches to clip 02 to make it ready to export. Now that our clips are ready to be exported, press Export category, go to Videos, tick Clip 1 and Clip 02, go to More. Inside More, we can choose the format to be MPEG video or PNG sequence of images. Next, we have Mood. We can export these videos as standard videos, 3D videos, 360-degree videos, or video 360-degree 3D videos. Let me set it to standard. Max reflection on, max lighting on, and if we made the video mode to be 360-degree, then we can set its resolutions from here. And yes, inside format we have more, that we can set the frame rate to be 30 frames per second or other options like 25, 60 and 120 frames per second. Now that is all set, it is time to press Start Export. Press Start Export, then select a destination folder and leave it to export those two clips. On my machine, it took about 11 minutes to render those clips, which is an amazing time to render animation if you compare it to any other 3D software. And here are the final results after everything got rendered. Create BIM-Motion Virtual Reality. One of the best features of Twinmotion is its ability to create virtual reality game-like files called BIM-Motion. Since it is based on the famous game engine Unreal Engine, we are now able to create a live interactive experience of our design and walk through our villa as if we are playing a video game, and it is so easy to do that in Twinmotion. Now let's learn how to do it. So here is our Twinmotion file, ready and complete. We will simply go to Media, then BIM-Motion, and we will press Create Start to create the start point of our digital model. That is the point where we will be standing when we start the game of our design. We will press Create Start, and a start point thumbnail is now created. Notice that Create Start button turned gray now, as we can only create one game for our project. Just like images and videos, we have the same options like rename, delete, and reload up here. And we have a More button that let us adjust camera settings, localization, weather, lighting, depth of field, background, and visual effects. And any adjustments in these will be applied to our video game BIM-Motion. Since I have everything set good and nice, all I need to do is just create the starting point and move to the next step. The next step is simply go to the Export menu, go to the BIM icon and turn it on. We can press More for more options. Something like Media List, and that is to include the clips and shots we created in that game. We will learn how to access that from the BIM game later. Let's check them all for now. For the free ride, we will set it to on, so we can move around freely in our project. And we will also turn physics on, so when we are walking, we can go up and down the stairs and landscape. And now everything is set. It is time to press Start Export. Press it, choose a destination folder and press Select Folder. Now give Twinmotion some time to create the video game of your project. On my machine, it took less than 2 minutes to do that. After the completion of the export process, we will go to the destination folder and we will find a folder called BIMmotion, then the name of the Twinmotion project file. This folder, we can send it to our client to allow them to interact in the design. No need for Twinmotion to be installed on their machine. It's like giving them a video game to play. All they have to do is to go inside that folder and double-click bimmotion.exe and let it load. A quick note here, just like any video game, the computer specs may affect the quality of the graphics of that video game, so BIMmotion better be played on a higher specs computer that has a good graphic card and a processor. Another quick note, the size of that folder of BIMmotion is relatively big. For our project, it is around 7 gigabytes of hard disk space. Now, this video game that is called BIMmotion can be viewed and played using the virtual reality gadgets like Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. If we searched Google for Oculus Rift, that's one of the best and most famous virtual reality gadgets that is indeed compatible with BIMmotion and Twinmotion as well. That will give very immersive experience to the design, as if you are inside your building. The other option nowadays for virtual reality gadget is HTC Vive, and that is how it looks like on Google. They are both the top 2 brands for virtual reality gadgets. If we don't have any of these virtual reality gadgets, we can simply use our mouse and keyboard to move around our scene. Now, after the game has been loaded, here we have our game started from the starting point that we set earlier in Twinmotion. So here is our villa and cars are moving around. Let's start playing now. If we click and hold the right-click button of the mouse, I can look around the scene. If we press that Y button, then down there appears a lot of options that we can control. The first thing we might need to adjust is the settings, and depending on the computer you are using, the viewport quality is one of the settings that gets adjusted automatically. Since I am using a good and powerful computer, the viewport settings is now set to be very high. But if we opened this BIMmotion on a weak or old computer, the viewport quality might be set to low, and that would be the quality of the graphics for this BIMmotion game. So, depending on the computer we are using, we can adjust the quality to get the best performance But for me now, I will set it to be very high. There are also some settings we can adjust, like camera sight height. If we are walking in our scene, our height would be 1.7 meters, and the speed of walking is medium. Let's press OK and start our experience. So just like video games, I will move with the keyboard arrows. Left, right, front, back, and mouse right click will let us look around. So we can move around to approach our villa, walk down the streets and around our villa with reactions to the cars, street curbs, and all. Now let's say I want to enter the villa. I will move to that door, but it is now closed and I can't move through it. And that is because I am in the walking mood now, just like a person standing outside the villa. But I can change my mood from walking mood to a drone mood. From here, click that drone icon and we are now flying just like a drone. In flying mode, we still have the keyboard arrows letting us move left, right, front, and back. But we can now fly upwards using Q or page up button, and fly downwards using E or page down button. If we are flying and we change the mood back to walking by pressing this icon, we will fall back and be walking again as if we are human walking. Check out the garage. People are talking here. Move around. Check out the seating area. Look around. Go to the backyard and check it out. Check out the pool and that fireplace, the kids area, and everything we experience as if we are living in that villa. Very amazing and immersive experience. There are even more options that can enhance your experience, like changing the time of the day using that slider here. We can turn the daytime into night. And check out our villa at night with the automatic lights on. And check out how beautiful is that villa at night. Move around it. Check it out from the other side, and all that is live and interactive and immersive, very useful in explaining design ideas to clients. Let's turn it back to day and check out more interesting features. One very cool feature is this camera icon to the right here. When we click it, it takes a shot and save it to the desktop. So if your client wants to tell you a comment about the design, he will simply stand and shoot using this icon and go to the desktop, and here is the photo saved as a PNG image. That play button will play what we have here. If we press it, it will take us back to the start point that we set in Twinmotion. But if we click on the start point, we can choose from all the media that we created in Twinmotion, whether it is images, videos, or panoramas. Let me click image 01 for example, and we are taken straight to that image. We can view all the photographic perspective of these images with all their settings. whether it's camera settings, lights, shadows, weather, everything. And even if these shots were taken as a night shot, we can go through very nice photography of our villa using this menu here. We can also play the videos that we set in Twinmotion. Let's select clip 01 now and press play. And it will be played in VI.RENDERING game just like we set it in Twinmotion. Here is clip 02 for example. And here is clip 03. Very beautiful way of presenting our projects on the spot. And here are more clips to be played in VI.RENDERING. Another interesting feature here is that as we can change the daytime, we can also change weather settings. If we clicked on that daytime here, we can now change the sky settings from clear to cloudy to rainy to clear again. Another click on the same icon, we can change the season. Let me change the daytime to day while it's still raining. We can see how beautiful those rains on our materials on the ground. Let's set the sky to be clear now and let's go to the season settings and set it to winter. And now snow is all over my project and all trees and vegetation took the winter effect. We can set it to spring too, where trees turns yellow, and play however we like in weather. And that was how to export and use that virtual reality VI.RENDERING game, an immersive experience for your architectural projects.